5 times, our Earth was completely wiped clean. 5 apocalyptic disasters from deep space and the bowels of the underworld turned this vibrant blue world into a burning graveyard, erasing over 90% of all living creatures. The dominant monsters that once ruled, seemingly immortal, were turned to ash in a mere blink of geological time. But do you want to know the most terrifying part? The 6th mass extinction has already begun, and this time, welcome to Geological Time Travelers. Today we will explore the massive planetary disasters that repeatedly devastated all life on our fragile Earth. Our beautiful blue world has seen 5 catastrophic mass extinctions, wiping out billions of incredible creatures throughout its long and violent past. These terrifying events reshaped the entire biological landscape, destroying dominant species and allowing entirely new forms of life to slowly emerge. We are now standing at the very edge of a 6th mass extinction, and this time the ultimate cause is us. To understand our current crisis, we must first travel back in time to witness the immense destructive power of nature itself. The fossil record reveals terrifying secrets hidden within ancient rocks, telling a story of sudden death and miraculous planetary rebirth. Each layer of stone represents millions of years of evolution, suddenly interrupted by global catastrophes that changed the world forever. Let us begin our journey by traveling back more than 400 million years to the vast and mysterious ancient oceans. Welcome to the Ordovician period, where life flourished exclusively beneath the waves, in warm, shallow seas filled with strange marine creatures. Giant orthocones and thousands of trilobite species dominated these vibrant underwater ecosystems, creating a complex web of early marine life forms. But suddenly, disaster struck from the deep cosmos. A massive gamma-ray burst likely hit Earth, destroying the vital ozone layer. Lethal ultraviolet radiation bombarded the unprotected oceans, killing countless surface-dwelling organisms and instantly disrupting the entire global marine food chain. Following this cosmic strike, global temperatures plummeted rapidly, plunging the entire planet into a severe and devastating global ice age. Massive glaciers formed across the southern supercontinent, locking up enormous amounts of ocean water and drastically lowering global sea levels. Shallow marine habitats were completely destroyed, leaving coastal marine species with absolutely nowhere to hide from the freezing and toxic waters. Ocean currents slowed down significantly, causing deep waters to lose their life-sustaining oxygen, suffocating millions of incredible bottom-dwelling creatures. 85% of all marine species were completely wiped out during this first catastrophic planetary extinction event in Earth history. The once vibrant coral reefs turned into silent graveyards, leaving behind only fossilized remnants of a glorious and diverse biological era. Entire families of trilobites vanished forever, their beautiful armored shells buried deep within the freezing mud of the dying ancient oceans. This devastating biological collapse lasted for several million years, forcing the few remaining survivors to adapt to incredibly harsh new conditions. Eventually, the massive glaciers began to melt, and global temperatures stabilized, allowing life to slowly recover and diversify once again. The surviving marine species evolved into new and complex forms, setting the stage for the next great chapter of biological evolution. But the planet would not remain peaceful forever. Another deadly catastrophe was already brewing on the distant geological horizon of Earth. We now enter the Late Devonian period, often called the Age of Fishes, where giant predators ruled the vast global oceans. On land, the very first massive forests began to spread, transforming the barren continents into lush and vibrant green biological paradises. However, this incredible explosion of terrestrial plant life may have ironically triggered the second major mass extinction event in planetary history. Deep plant roots rapidly broke down ancient rocks, washing enormous amounts of raw nutrients directly into the fragile coastal marine ecosystems. These sudden nutrient spikes caused massive toxic algae blooms, which violently consumed all the available oxygen in the shallow coastal waters. Huge dead zones formed across the global oceans, suffocating majestic marine creatures and destroying the magnificent ancient coral reef building organisms. Simultaneously, massive volcanic eruptions may have released vast quantities of toxic gases, further destabilizing the fragile climate and global marine environments. Global temperatures fluctuated wildly between extreme heat and freezing cold, making it completely impossible for many sensitive marine species to survive. The magnificent armored fishes, known as placoderms, were completely wiped out, losing their dominant position in the global oceanic food chain. Nearly 75% of all species perished during this prolonged and agonizing period of environmental collapse and global biological devastation. The ancient coral reefs were hit so incredibly hard that they would not fully recover for over 100 million years. Once again, the silent oceans became vast graveyards, filled with the decaying remains of once magnificent and highly evolved marine creatures. Yet, life stubbornly held on in the darkest depths and isolated coastal pockets, waiting for the toxic environmental conditions to improve. As the toxic oceans slowly cleared, the resilient survivors eventually emerged to repopulate the world and conquer the newly formed continents. The age of amphibians began, but the most horrific and devastating planetary disaster in Earth history was still waiting to happen. Welcome to the end of the Permian period, 251 million years ago. Prepare for the Great Dying Event. This was the absolute worst mass extinction in the entire history of our planet, nearly wiping out all life on Earth. In modern-day Siberia, the ground suddenly tore open, unleashing the most massive and violent volcanic eruptions the world had seen. Rivers of boiling lava flowed across the land for thousands of years, covering an area larger than the entire European continent. These apocalyptic eruptions pumped billions of tons of carbon dioxide and toxic sulfur into the fragile atmosphere, triggering catastrophic global warming. Global temperatures skyrocketed to lethal levels, turning the once lush and vibrant supercontinent of Pangaea into a barren and scorching desert. The extreme heat baked the soil, completely destroying the complex terrestrial plant life and collapsing the entire global land food chain. Acid rain poured from the darkened skies, burning the remaining vegetation and turning freshwater lakes into highly toxic and lifeless pools. In the boiling oceans, water temperatures reached 40 degrees Celsius, while massive amounts of dissolved carbon dioxide turned the seas acidic. The acidic waters literally dissolved the protective shells of marine creatures, causing a complete and total collapse of the ocean ecosystems. To make matters worse, deadly hydrogen sulfide gas bubbled up from the stagnant ocean depths, poisoning the air and coastal environments. An unimaginable 96% of all marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrate species were completely wiped out forever. The famous trilobites, which had survived 2 previous mass extinctions, finally met their ultimate demise in this toxic and burning hellscape. Forests completely disappeared from the face of the earth, leaving behind vast stretches of lifeless rock, blowing sand, and barren wasteland. It took life over 10 million years to slowly recover from this unparalleled biological catastrophe and rebuild the shattered global ecosystems. The few surviving creatures were mostly small and highly adaptable, hiding in deep burrows to escape the deadly heat and radiation. From these humble and resilient survivors, a completely new world order would eventually rise from the toxic ashes of the Permian. We move forward to the end of the Triassic period, exactly 200 million years ago, as the supercontinent Pangaea fractures. The world had finally recovered from the Great Dying, and large reptiles known as archosaurs currently dominated the lush terrestrial landscape. Early dinosaurs were still relatively small and insignificant, living deep within the dense shadows of their much larger and fiercer relatives. But as the massive supercontinent began to tear itself apart, colossal volcanic rifts opened up across the newly forming Atlantic Ocean. Massive amounts of greenhouse gases were violently released into the atmosphere, causing another devastating and rapid spike in global atmospheric temperatures. The sudden climate shift caused severe global droughts, completely destroying the lush vegetation that sustained the massive and dominant herbivorous reptiles. Without enough food, the giant apex predators quickly starved to death, leading to a massive and rapid collapse of terrestrial ecosystems. In the warming oceans, the rising acidity levels severely damaged the newly recovered coral reefs and destroyed countless ancient marine species. More than half of all known species on Earth suddenly vanished, clearing the biological stage for a completely new global dynasty. The massive archosaurs were completely wiped out, leaving a huge ecological vacuum that the surviving creatures would very quickly fill up. This specific extinction event proved to be incredibly beneficial for one particular group of small and highly adaptable terrestrial reptilian survivors. The dinosaurs, having survived the intense volcanic heat and devastating global droughts, suddenly found themselves without any major predators or competitors. They rapidly evolved and diversified, growing to massive sizes and officially beginning their legendary reign over the entire prehistoric natural world. For the next 135 million years, these magnificent giant beasts would completely dominate every single continent on Earth. But the universe is completely indifferent to the success of life, and another apocalyptic cosmic terror was silently heading toward Earth. 66 million years ago, the vibrant Cretaceous period was in full swing, with iconic dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus roaming the land. The oceans were ruled by massive marine reptiles, while the very first tiny mammals hid nervously in the dense forest undergrowth. Suddenly, a massive asteroid measuring 10 kilometers across slammed violently into the shallow waters of what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. The unimaginable impact released the explosive energy of billions of nuclear bombs, instantly vaporizing everything within a 1,000-kilometer blast radius. A colossal tsunami, hundreds of meters high, raced across the global oceans, utterly destroying coastal environments and drowning countless ancient creatures. Trillions of tons of vaporized rock and debris were violently blasted into space, before raining back down as fiery burning meteors. The intense friction of the falling debris superheated the global atmosphere, instantly igniting massive and uncontrollable wildfires across every single continent. Thick clouds of toxic soot and suffocating ash completely blocked out the sun, plunging the entire planet into cold, endless darkness. Without vital sunlight, global plant life quickly withered and died, causing a rapid and total collapse of the entire terrestrial food chain. The massive herbivorous dinosaurs starved to death, followed shortly by the giant carnivorous predators that heavily relied upon them for survival. In the dark oceans, the vital microscopic plankton completely perished, starving the giant marine reptiles and devastating the global marine ecosystems. 75% of all life on Earth was extinguished, including every single non-avian dinosaur that had ruled for millennia. The glorious age of the dinosaurs was violently brought to a sudden and tragic end by a random rock from space. However, this massive tragedy created a beautiful golden opportunity for the small, furry mammals that had survived deep underground in burrows. With the giant reptilian monsters completely gone, mammals quickly emerged from the ashes to conquer the newly healing and empty world. This incredible mammalian evolution eventually led to the rise of early primates, and ultimately, the emergence of modern human beings today. We now arrive at the present day, the Holocene epoch, where humans have become the absolute dominant force on planet Earth. But our rapid technological rise has triggered a terrifying new global crisis, widely known today as the Sixth Great Mass Extinction. Unlike previous catastrophic events caused by random asteroids or massive volcanoes, this current global biological devastation is entirely driven by us. We are currently losing thousands of unique species every single year at an alarming rate not seen since the dinosaur extinction. Relentless human hunting and aggressive global poaching have pushed magnificent animals like rhinos and tigers to the absolute brink of extinction. Massive industrial deforestation is rapidly destroying the precious Amazon rainforest, wiping out countless complex habitats and displacing millions of vulnerable creatures. We are aggressively bulldozing ancient global ecosystems to build massive concrete cities and plant endless fields of unsustainable modern agricultural crops. Our global oceans are currently choking on billions of tons of toxic plastic waste, trapping and killing countless innocent marine animals. Majestic sea turtles mistake floating plastic bags for jellyfish, suffering agonizing and completely preventable deaths in our highly polluted modern oceans. Industrial chemical runoff and massive oil spills are constantly poisoning our fragile coastal waters, creating massive and lifeless underwater dead zones. But the most dangerous threat of all is the rapid and unprecedented global climate change caused by massive industrial carbon emissions. By burning vast amounts of fossil fuels, we are pumping billions of tons of toxic greenhouse gases directly into our atmosphere. Global temperatures are rising at a terrifyingly rapid pace, melting the polar ice caps and completely destroying vital Arctic animal habitats. Desperate polar bears are currently starving to death as the vital sea ice they need for hunting completely vanishes beneath them. Our beautiful coral reefs are heavily bleaching and dying due to rapidly rising ocean temperatures and highly destructive ocean acidification levels. Extreme weather events like massive hurricanes, devastating floods, and catastrophic wildfires are becoming incredibly common and highly destructive across the globe. Millions of innocent animals are burning alive in massive forest fires, unable to escape the terrifying and unnatural infernos we created. We are basically recreating the exact same deadly atmospheric conditions that triggered the horrific Permian mass extinction millions of years ago. If we do not completely change our destructive ways immediately, we will inevitably cause the total collapse of global biological ecosystems. The ancient fossil record provides a terrifying warning about how quickly a vibrant and thriving living planet can become a graveyard. We are heavily dependent on the complex web of life for our food, our clean water, and the very air we breathe. If we allow the current global ecosystems to completely collapse, humanity itself will quickly join the ever-growing list of extinctions. But unlike the helpless dinosaurs or the ancient trilobites, we actually have the intelligence and the modern technology to save ourselves. We must immediately transition to clean, renewable energy, aggressively protect natural wildlife habitats, and completely stop polluting our fragile global oceans. The future of our beautiful blue planet is currently resting entirely in our hands, waiting for us to make the choice. Thank you for watching Geological Time Travelers. Please subscribe to our channel and join us in protecting the future of Earth.